Is your Costa Rica Realtor legitimate? If you're thinking about moving here, you've probably heard that real estate is not a licensed profession here, but there are legal things that every realtor must do in order to earn a living through real estate here in Costa Rica. Today I'm going to cover how you can tell the difference between legal and legitimate realtors here in Costa Rica and the other guys. Stay tuned. Greetings from Costa Rica, folks. My name is Matt Rosensteel with Latitude 10 Realty. Today, I'm touching on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, explaining the difference between legitimate, legally operating realtors here in Costa Rica and everybody else. If you've been thinking about moving here, you've probably heard that unlike the US, Canada, and most of the developed world, realtors are not licensed and regulated like they are in other countries. However, there are legal things that we all have to do to be able to operate here in the country as realtors. Today, I'm first going to cover the must-haves, those absolute legal requirements that you need in order to earn money from real estate here in Costa Rica. And then I'm going to cover some of the other intangibles, a few of the factors that aren't necessarily obligatory, but that definitely help you choose between realtors who are great at what they do and impactful, and like I said, the rest of the crowd. If you like straightforward information about moving here in the real estate industry, do be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's just one click and I'll be forever thankful. Let's get started here. First of all, talking about the absolute obligatory legal requirements that anybody has to fulfill in order to earn a living through real estate here in Costa Rica. First of all, the simplest factor is you must be a permanent resident of the country. Having unrestricted residency and not just investor status or pensioner status is absolutely critical and a legal requirement to work here. The same applies for real estate. So any realtor you're working with should be a permanent resident and not just a temporary one or on their way to permanent residency. Second absolute legal requirement, and this is an interesting one because not many people know about it. The second requirement is to be registered with a national financial oversight ministry called SUGEF. That's S-U-G-E-F. SUGEF mainly regulates international financial transactions and ensures that the country is complying with international anti-money laundering laws. As realtors, in order to earn a cent of commission income from a real estate transaction here in the country, we must be registered with SUGEF. Being registered with them involves filing transparency disclosures and all kinds of wonderful paperwork to make sure that you're complying with what they want to see in order to understand what real estate transactions are happening and so that they can be sure they know who is involved in this industry. Interestingly, SUGEF has a website where you can check whether or not your realtor or their company is legally registered to do business as realtors here in the country. The page, I'm not going to give the full link here, we'll put it in the description, but it's basically sugef.fi.cr for their page, and then a bunch of other stuff to find the search engine. In that search engine, you can either enter the legal ID of a company or the personal ID number of somebody who should be registered with SUGEF to ensure that they're doing business legally. For example, if you wanted to find me on this site, you could enter 3102-675374. That's my Cédula number, or rather the ID number for our company. And when you go to this website, you'll see that Latitud Diez, our company, is registered with SUGEF, and therefore we're doing business legally in that factor as well. Third, let's touch on another absolute obligatory requirement to be legally practicing real estate here or earning money from it: taxes. Every true realtor in Costa Rica is obligated to collect a 13% impuesto de valor agregado, or value-added tax, on top of their commission amount. They're then obligated to pay that every month to the national government here in Costa Rica through a declaration and regular filing that we do monthly, disclosing commission income and also immediately paying the tax that we first charge to our customer and that we're passing immediately to the government due to our obligations as legally operating realtors here. Those are the three absolute obligatory legal requirements. Permanent residency, you have to be registered with SUGEF, and you have to pay your taxes, especially that IVA on every single commission that you earn. Let's talk about some of the other factors that I feel are important if you're considering a Costa Rica realtor as to who might separating the good guys from somebody who might not be quite up to par. First of all, there are two realtor associations operating here in Costa Rica. One is called CRGAR, or the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors, and the second is the CCCBR, which is a Spanish acronym for the Cámara Costarricense de Corredores de Bienes y Raíces, or the Costa Rican Chamber of Realtors. Both of these organizations hold their members to the same standards that are outlined in the Code of Ethics published by the National Association of Realtors, and you can assume that anybody operating in one of these associations is bound by those same ethical standards and therefore an NAR international affiliate member. A second requirement, or something that I feel is a great distinction between realtors here in the country, are truly finding representatives who are bilingual. Nothing else in this country allows you to really understand what's going on and the full panorama of the context for a property, and for negotiating and for understanding legal contracts on and on and on, than being truly bilingual. There are professionals who can successfully operate here for years and years without speaking Spanish. I'm saying here that it adds a lot to what your realtor brings to the table, and it's something that's a huge plus if you're considering one option versus another. One of the biggest questions that come up when people are considering different realtors are weighing the options between those that work at big companies and those that have maybe their own small family enterprise. And all I want to emphasize here is that in addition to these legal requirements that I've mentioned, when you're interviewing your potential Costa Rica realtor, rather than looking at the logo on their shirt, be sure you're questioning them about their experience and really their perspective on Costa Rica and how they've been able to build their knowledge. You will find that it doesn't necessarily where people are working, but across the board you will find some people who have recently arrived and have almost no experience in the country who are also getting involved in real estate here, and you'll find others who have decades of experience and really an in-depth knowledge of the country that goes far beyond just real estate and the condos available, etc. And no matter who you're talking to, make sure that they've got the experience that you feel gives them the background to advise you on your decision. Again, it doesn't matter what logo's on their shirt. Really, it matters what experience they have and if they are doing business legally and obviously ethically here in the country. Finally, one last factor I want you to consider in choosing Costa Rica realtors, and this may surprise you that you need to ask, but do be sure to ask your real estate representative where they are and where they spend their time. Because if you're emailing with someone who, let's say, has a website, CostaRicaRealEstate.com, actually that's, I'm sure, a real legitimate website. They have a website. You might be talking to an intermediary who's sitting somewhere else in the world, really just trying to get in between real estate transactions here in the country. They're in the US or Canada, etc. Maybe they come down to Costa Rica here and there, or maybe they live here a few months out of the year. But what they're doing is getting leads from online, presenting real estate listings, and really trying to get that transaction going. And then frequently you'll find, okay, well, now you're booking your trip to come down, and all of a sudden this person you've been emailing with says, oh, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you. I'm not there. You'll be meeting up with my assistant, or I'm going to connect you with the listing representative for this house, etc. And you might find out late in the process that the person you've been dealing with online to research about Costa Rica and real estate isn't legally operating here. They might not even be here. They won't be here to help you with your search. And that's also someone that you should probably try to avoid in the cases where you can, just so that you've got someone on the ground who's also going to be able to help you with your search. Do be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll put the icon right here. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good one.